Hey everybody, Gary Glass here once again. Just wanting to say hello and wish everybody out in social media land. Hey, how do you do? We've been reading Napoleon Hill's The 12 Miracles of Life, and we're up through into chapter number one. We're almost going to finish. I think we'll finish chapter number one today. The last in chapter number one has been on faith, and the last subchapter we finished was mental attitude can be negative or positive. And so now today we're going to read the entire section and finish off the chapter. And this section is titled, How Can One Control the Mental Attitude? And it's so important because it controls you. You need to be in control of your thoughts, and it's just so vital. So Napoleon wrote, the starting point of control of the mental attitude is motive and desire. So what do you want and how bad do you want it and why do you want it so bad? No one ever does anything without a motive or motives, and the stronger the motive, the easier it is to control the mental attitude. And by the way, if you want some help with your goals or help with your motivation on that, just DM me or something, or check out my website, garyglass.us, and happy to give you some help. So we'll continue. Mental attitude can be influenced and controlled by a number of factors. Among them, these, and he's got 6 thoughts here. So first, by a burning desire for the attainment of a definite purpose based upon one or more of the 9 basic motives which activate all human endeavor. And he says, see the list of the 9 basic motives in chapter 4, and we'll get there when we get there. And what is chapter 4? The 5th, the 4th, here we go. The 4th miracle of life is titled The Mastery of Poverty, so that'll be good. And then there's 9 basic motives in that chapter. Wow. So we'll get there when we get there. So number 2, by conditioning the mind to automatically choose and carry out definite positive objectives with the aid of the 8 guiding principles, or some similar technique which will keep the mind busily engaged with positive objectives when one is asleep as well as when one is awake. And those 8 guiding principles or 8 guiding princes. It's not principles, it's 8 guiding princes, and we'll get to that in chapter 7. And I don't know what that was. 7 is the miracle of life, talking about our unseen guides. Very good. Then idea number 3 here, by close association with people who inspire active engagement in positive purposes and refusal to be influenced by negative-minded people. 4th, by autosuggestion, and there's a great chapter in the book Think and Grow Rich on autosuggestion, and it's actually the 3rd step to riches, that self-talk. So by autosuggestion, through which the mind is constantly given positive directives until it attracts only that for which these directives call. Number 5, by a profound recognition and its adoption and use of the individual's exclusive privilege of controlling and directing his own mind. Such a vital discipline to have. Control your thoughts. You can once you are able to do that, you can do absolutely anything. Number 6, by the aid of a machine by which the subconscious mind can be given directives while one sleeps. And so those were 6 ideas that could help influence your mental attitude. So, and I'm sure there's many more, but those were the 6 that Napoleon Hill listed. So his article continues, our great American way of life, our matchless system of free enterprise, and the personal liberty of which we feel so proud are nothing more than the mental attitude of people organized and directed to special ends. One factor of the American way of life, which stands out boldly among all others, consists in the laws and the mechanisms of government we've set up to protect the individual in the freedom of control over his mental attitude. It was this freedom of control over mental attitude which gave us the great leaders who patterned our American way of life and our great system of free enterprise. And it is significant that only those who moved with a positive mental attitude became leaders. something to contemplate there. It, especially if you want to become a leader, whether it's at your school and you're, I don't know, maybe associated with a school district or at work or whatever you want to do within your family. So important. Are you a leader? And are you a leader of self? Are you leading yourself toward what you truly want? So let's continue. Thomas A. Edison's positive mental attitude sustained him through more than 10,000 failures. That was back when he was working on the electric light bulb, and led him to the discovery of the incandescent electric light, which ushered in the great electrical age and the fabulous riches it gave us. Henry Ford's positive mental attitude kept him afloat during his early struggles in building the first automobile, and it served as his greatest and most important asset in establishing a fabulous industrial empire, which made him richer than Cyrus and provided employment directly and indirectly for perhaps more than 10 million men and women. The interesting thing about Ford there, but when Henry Ford, before he invented he's credited for inventing the assembly line for building cars. Well, the assembly line had been around for a long time, just not for building cars. And what Ford ended up modeling or using as a model was big industrial butcher shops where they'd bring the I don't know, maybe a cow in on a hook through a refrigerator, and one guy would be okay. He'd be taking off certain parts, and then the next guy would be taking off certain parts, and then the next guy would. So this would be like the deconstruction of the animal to be placed into the food supply, and then Ford looked at that and was going, oh my gosh. Look what they're doing. I can use the same system, only instead of deconstructing a cow, I can construct, I can build, I can manufacture a car. And so the before and after, before Ford was put in the new system that allowed him to pay his workers more than anybody else in the industry, was they were only producing 5 cars a month at Ford Motor Company. And then after they put in the assembly line, they were able to produce 60 cars a month. And it made a huge difference. So then everyone he was able to hire, they were able to get a higher wage. Because they got a higher wage, they had a better quality of life. Because as a part of that better quality of life, they themselves were able to afford Model T cars. Just this beautiful system that Ford put together just worked so well. So in continuing, Andrew Carnegie's positive mental attitude lifted him up from poverty and obscurity and served as his major asset in the establishment of an industry which gave birth to the great steel age, which now serves as the most important link in our entire economic system. And this, of course, being back in I don't know, Hill was writing this in the late 30s, early 40s, and if I remember right, into the 50s as well. Mahatma Gandhi's positive mental attitude, which he called passive resistance, was more than a match for the great power of the British military forces which ruled India for many generations. It was Gandhi's positive mental attitude which brought together a mastermind alliance of more than 200 million of his fellow men who gave mighty power to his passive resistance and freed India from British control without the firing of a gun or the loss of a single soldier. No violence at all. So good. It was the positive mental attitude of the builder of the great Golden Gate Suspension Bridge, which gave us the world's longest single-span bridge, despite the fact that his first attempt indicated that the job was an engineering impossibility, and the state officials turned thumbs down on it by withholding the necessary initial thumbs for the work. Yeah, doesn't that sound like government getting in the way of business and what can be done? Government only knows what can't and regulate the life out of you. Crazy. Anyway, wherever we find leadership and great achievement at any level of life, in any calling or occupation, we recognize that it is founded upon a positive mental attitude. A positive mental attitude is the sum total of hopes, wishes, and beliefs added up and transmuted into faith. And faith is the open door to infinite intelligence, which can be appropriated and used only by those who maintain a positive mental attitude. And the most profound fact regarding a positive mental attitude is that everyone has the privilege of adopting it and using it for all purposes without money and without price. The secret by which this profound truth may enrich your mind and give you mastery over obstacles of happiness, which you may encounter the remainder of your life, have been revealed in the chapters which follow. Well, grateful for that. Head in with an open mind, and you will be rewarded with the form of riches sufficient to give you a well-balanced life, freedom from fear, and peace of mind, which shall endure. I don't know, I really feel that all of our goals are really, what do you really want? You want peace of mind. You want to be able to feel good. You want to be able to live the life that you want. You want to be able to hang out with the people that you want to and be able to do the things that you want to whenever you choose. And that ends up being my definition of peace of mind. And what does and so what's required and what price has to be paid. And you need to have, in order to have true peace of mind, you need to have a good financial security. You want to have good relationship security. You want to have great economic security. You want to have health security. You know, so many different things. And in my opinion, so many of these things, in order to have them, you need to have self-discipline. You need to put in a study of what needs to be done in order for you to achieve these things. The article continues. In the chapters which follow, you will be introduced to the greatest person now living. When you discover the name of this person, turn down a glass, mark the page where the name was revealed, and sign it, for you will have discovered a new meaning of the purpose for which we are on this earth plane for the brief span of years called life. Awesome. I love that. And please do look for that name, for the most important person in the world. It's that person is just, they're absolutely amazing. They're what's within them and what they're able to do is just phenomenal. All right, we'll close out with a quote from Think and Grow Rich, and here it is. When riches begin to come, they come so quickly and in such great abundance that one wonders where they have been hiding all those lean years. That's a quote from Napoleon Hill, straight out of Think and Grow Rich. All right, we finished chapter 1 on on faith, and it's been a beautiful chapter. How did what was the subtitle of that? Let me see. Oh, and it opened up with a quote. You can do it if you think you can. It's so good. And the first miracle of life was the inexorable power of faith. And that was the title of the first chapter. And tomorrow we'll move forward to the second chapter, and it's titled The Second Miracle of Life, the Law of Growth Through Eternal Change. Everything needs to change. I think that there was something from Socrates and Aristotle on change. Maybe I'll bring that up with a whiteboard tomorrow. So, anywho, hope you have a wonderful day. Hope you're working on your goals. Be writing your goal down every day. Read that gold card at least twice a day, at least once in the morning after you get up, at least once in the evening, right before you go to bed. Let your subconscious mind work on your goal and be one with you, and just embrace that idea of your goal and your dream life. You can have it if you want it, and if you experience the 12 miracles of life with a positive mental attitude. All right. God bless everybody. God bless you. God bless me. God bless us, everyone. Have a fabulous day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.